Right now at 6, a coastal community mourns a fishing boat captain feared dead after his vessel capsized.
If you know John, then you absolutely adore him, so it just hits harder.
Plus, a community's push to make the river safer in response to the tragic death of a teen swimmer.
If you're going to play in the water, use the buddy system, get a life jacket.
And later in sports, the Blazers hope the draft lottery lands them a lucky break as Eugene welcomes home a hoops legend.
To wake up on my own day, I feel like I should just make it a national holiday.
Good evening, everyone. We begin with what look like relatively dark skies on this Monday, with springtime rain certainly not unusual, but perhaps a little more welcome after a relatively long stretch of warm and dry weather.
Yeah, it's been a mostly calm day, but we did get some flashes of lightning, rumbles of thunder in the Portland metro area. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino in the Weather Center. Matt, what are you seeing now? How much rain is out there? And also, how much more is on the way?
Let's go up to the Cascades right now. Look at Timberline. You can see it's almost just completely socked in. There's been a little bit of new snow, but it's chilly, 32 degrees, and that cold air aloft has helped these showers and the occasional thunderstorm to get rolling. Right now, it's just showers. Haven't had any new lightning strikes for about an hour, but there is some pretty good rain coming down along the west hills through northwest Portland. So if you're in the downtown sector, you're going to get rained on again. South of town, this is the line that produced some pretty heavy rain in downtown Portland. A couple of lightning strikes, but that is beginning to diminish. Still some good rainfall with it, but no more lightning. Now, down around Eugene, we had a couple of thunderstorms as well. And look at these pictures. Possible cold air funnel cloud being reported by a gentleman named Doug Moss. This is near Eugene. Pretty good indication that that was a funnel with rotation. These cold air funnel clouds are fairly common in the spring, and they usually don't touch down or do any damage or last even up in the cloud in the sky for more than 20, 30 seconds or so. But they sure do get people's attention when they see them. So again, looks like a cold air funnel cloud down around the Eugene area earlier this afternoon. So that happened there. So now what happens next? Well, the showers will be diminishing overnight tonight. We had some decent rainfall, though, in the last 48 hours, really for the first time in about a month. We had 29 hundredths of an inch at the airport, but over 35 hundredths of an inch in Troutdale, nearly half an inch up in Scappoose. So again, some really good 48-hour rainfall amounts around the state, even Central Oregon picking up 38 hundredths of an inch down in Bend. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, still cool, but mainly dry. We may get a sprinkle here and there in the afternoon, but I think mainly a dry day for us on Thursday. And in fact, the whole week looks like it'll be mainly dry, with the exception coming towards about Thursday. And then again over the weekend, no significant rain, but also no significant warm up. More on this later, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, a little calmer after a potentially a busy couple of days here. Thanks, Matt.
Developing tonight, we are hearing from friends of a Newport fishing boat captain feared dead after his vessel capsized off the Washington coast.
Libby Dowson's here. Libby, the Coast Guard was able to rescue 3 others on board. What have you learned about the captain?
All good things. Everyone has plenty to say about fishing captain John Stevenson and his family. They are well known and loved in the community of Newport, from the commercial fishing industry to their church in South Beach to local volunteer organizations. This news comes as a big blow to those who know him.
The 68-foot Captain Raleigh sank off the coast of Westport, Washington Friday morning after taking on water. The Coast Guard says it was able to pull 3 crew members safely from the water, but they say Captain John Stevenson went down with the Captain Raleigh. Friends and family trying to come to terms with the tragedy.
We have become a very safe industry, but they do happen.
Family friend Tonette Dixon is a 20-year member of the nonprofit Newport Fishermen's Wives, with Stevenson's wife. She helped plan a vigil for John Saturday and remembers his light.
He had a wicked sense of humor. He was just a happy human.
She said the news is hitting hard for so many people in Newport who have lived and worked with him.
You know, it's somebody you see every day at the store. If you know John, then you absolutely adore him. So it just hits harder.
Yeah.
Kyle Rutherford spent years working with John.
Spending time together on a boat with a guy, you know, day in and day out, eating together, sleeping together, you really get to know a person. He was selfless in a way because he cared so much for other people. and his family. You know, he loved his family, and it was inspiring.
Rutherford said he remembers John with a smile.
And I don't know what it was, but the guy never liked to wear rain gear. And it would be pouring down rain. We'd be working on the back deck. He'd be in a cutoff and sweatpants, soaking wet.
John's wife and their children now at the front of everyone's mind.
She's got a lot of people that love her. The kids have a lot of people that love them.
And I hope that people can carry that light that John had with him in memory, you know, instead of the sadness of the tragedy. I hope that they can rejoice and bring something that John brought to all of us.
And friends have set up GoFundMe accounts for the Stevenson family and the crew members involved. The Coast Guard telling us salvage crews are working on a plan to lift the vessel and then access the inside. No estimate on how soon that could happen. David, Christine.
Thank you so much, Libby. Touching to hear about their memories.
In your headlines tonight, Portland police are looking for the person who shot and killed a man over the weekend in Old Town. This is around 7 Sunday morning on Northwest Nato near the Steel Bridge. Police have not released the victim's name or publicly identified any suspects. By KGW's count, this is the 13th homicide in Portland this year. That's about half the number of homicides in the Rose City at this time last year, and a third of what the count was in early May of 2022.
A Clark County man is facing 45 counts of animal cruelty after investigators say dozens of animals were found in terrible conditions on his property. Animal Control first contacted Muhammad Aluaddin 2 years ago when they got complaints of malnourished goats. Since then, they say the number of animals has increased as property conditions worsened. Aluaddin was arrested last week. 26 goats, 5 sheep, and 14 chickens were rescued and are getting veterinary care. Aluaddin cannot have any animals while his case is pending.
A school bus driver from Lincoln City appeared in court today following his arrest on child sex crime charges, and authorities believe there may be more victims. 21-year-old Josiah LaFrenz was arrested on Friday after police received a report alleging inappropriate communications with a Taft High School student. He has now been charged with luring a minor and online sex corruption of a child. Lincoln City police are asking anyone with information to please give them a call.
An Indian restaurant in Vancouver is temporarily closed after a damaging fire. It was reported around 5:30 this morning. Abiruchi Indian Cuisine South and North is located just off I-205 and Mill Plain Boulevard. When firefighters arrived, they saw flames shooting from the roof. It took them less than 15 minutes to knock the fire down. No one was inside the building at the time and no injuries were reported. Vancouver Fire is investigating the cause.
And Washington's governor has signed a bill requiring habitual speeders to have speed limiting devices on their vehicles. It includes drivers who get a certain restricted license or in a probationary period after a suspension for reckless or excessive speeding or otherwise ordered to do so by a court. The law is called the BEAM Act. It was pushed by the families of 3 children and a carpool driving mom who were killed by a speeding driver last year. The devices keep drivers from going over the posted speed limit, with 3 exemptions allowed per month.
Now at 6, the City of Independence unveiled a new life jacket kiosk today along the Willamette after a 13-year-old boy drowned there last summer.
Devin Haskins has the story.
The bright colors of the signs and the life jackets are pretty hard to miss, and that's the point. That's because they want you to see these as a reminder to grab one before you head out onto the water. A new safety kiosk full of life jackets on the edge of the Willamette, designed to catch attention and save lives. It was on July 7th of last year, 13-year-old Gregorio Maximiano Solano disappeared under the water at Riverview Park. His body was found 5 days later, and the tragedy sparked a movement.
In response to that, the community kind of came together and said we need some updated kiosks and updated signs and just essentially a new life jacket station.
The kiosk and sign were built by adults in custody with the Oregon Corrections Enterprises.
Our sign shop over in Ontario, Oregon actually made the signs, English and Spanish speaking signs for the kiosks, and then we also knew that there was a need for kiosks for the Life Vest and whatnot.
It's a state program that provides incarcerated individuals with training and work experience to help reduce reoffenses.
My welding shop here in Salem, Oregon actually made the kiosk here, and so we were able to donate it, and then the city ended up purchasing a couple of other ones.
The kiosks replace older ones, worn out and less visible.
This is a more vibrant, prettier colors that hopefully draws more attention to the life jacket station and hopefully prevent more tragedies like last summer.
Each features life vests, colorful cartoon graphics, and a QR code linking to water safety resources. There are 3 kiosks in the city along the banks with the same message of safety.
We do want to invite folks to still recreate safely. Again, if you're going to play in the water, use the buddy system, get a life jacket, take all preventative measures to prevent a tragedy.
The family of the boy that drowned was not here. They've since moved out of the area. The city says they wanted to get these kiosks up and running before Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start of summer. In Independence, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Free life jackets will also be available to people headed to popular swimming spots on the Sandy River this summer. Wildfire and AMR teamed up to place stands with more than 100 life jackets at 3 locations: Lewis and Clark Park, Dabney Park, and Glen Otto Park on the east side of the bridge. You'll find life jackets in child as well as adult sizes with signs in English, Spanish, and Russian.
Yeah, it's so important because this time of year the rivers are running so cold.
Absolutely.
Okay. As we approach another fire season, new research shows more people are dying from the aftermath of wildfires.
Bev Law is a professor of global change policy with Oregon State University and was part of the study. Her team found more people are dying because our warming climate is causing fires to emit higher amounts of particulates into the air. The research looked at a 15-year period starting back in 2006 through 2020. They found more than 160,000 people died from fine particulate matter during that time from across the lower 48 states.
Well, what happens is when you breathe in the smoke, it goes way deep into your lungs and can get into the bloodstream. And that's really bad. That's what fine particulate matter is, why it's so dangerous.
Law said people should limit their exposure to smoke and can invest in an air purifier, for example. She says keeping windows closed during air quality alerts is also a good idea. And if people need to go out in smoky conditions, N95 masks are helpful.
Well, this is interesting. The Oregon Department of Forestry says over 75% of wildfires in the state are human caused. We talk about that a lot, but most of those are caused by debris burns that get out of hand. There have already been 32 escaped debris burns, as they're called, so far this year, nearly double last year's number at this point. So some of the things you can do here: call your local fire district to make sure you're compliant with the rules and that they are aware. Check the wind and humidity. Clear a 10-foot buffer around the pile and keep each pile to about 4 by 4 feet in size. Also, don't use gasoline or other fuels to start your fire. Stay with the fire the entire time it's burning. Have water and fire tools on hand. Then follow the drown, stir, drown rule when putting it out. And recheck the area for hot spots for several weeks after burning. Good to stay safe. All right, straight ahead.